Okay, chat, while we're waiting, but I saw this tweet earlier with an article attached from PC Gamer that said Marvel Rivals is not considering a role queue, no matter how annoying it is to get rinsed on a team of 6 duelists. And attached is this article, which says Marvel Rivals is not considering a role queue, and goes as follows. Marvel Rivals has a problem, one that every hero shooter since the invention of the concept and every MOBA before it has suffered from. People keep picking DPS. You rock into a game expecting a balanced team makeup, but alas, your crew is composed of Hawkeye, Black Widow, Magic, Psylocke, Spider-Man, and a Punisher. You proceed to die violently. This has, predictably, led to cries for a role-based queue, where players have to commit to playing one of the 3 roles, Vanguard, Strategist, and Duelist, before entering a game. In theory, this chromatically balances things. Sure, you can play your favorite DPS hero, but to do so, you'll need to endure long queue times. Meanwhile, your tanks and healers get the VIP treatment. Crucially, all games are balanced as a result. Unfortunately for these people, Marvel Rivals isn't getting a role queue anytime soon. According to the developers, in an interview with Dot Esports, Guangqun Chen, I probably how you say their name, the game's creative director says that right now, we are not considering a role queue. The team's goal is to offer a wider variety of team composition through team-up skills and their own designs to let people play Marvel superheroes rather than limiting players to choosing a role. I'm gonna read this part really quick, and then I want to talk about it really fast, and then we'll keep going. There's a saying I like very much. You're not stuck in traffic. You are traffic. While I'm not sure its original author was thinking of hero shooters when they wrote it, especially since it appears from a decade-old advertisement for TomToms, a sat-nav device from the age before you could use your phone. I think it's an extremely applicable to them. So that it's a GPS. Basically, before you had your phone, you'd have to actually get a legitimate box GPS. My mom had one. I think this is actually a massive W because, one, I've said this before. I want to see Rivals go the complete opposite direction Overwatch did, completely, in every other way, for completely selfish reasons. I want to see all the what-if scenarios. You ever play a game, for example, oh my god, Detroit Become Human, right? It's a game that's like, you have a bunch of decisions you can make throughout the game. Imagine you only got to play it once. That's like life. Life is like playing Detroit Become Human, but you only get to do it one time, and you never get to see the other options. This is one of those times where a new hero shooter is coming out, and it's very similar in a lot of ways to where Overwatch was. And we have the opportunity to see what would happen if they went the complete opposite direction. And I'm for it in all ways, shape, or form. But there's a very interesting thing here is like, you are not stuck in traffic. You are the traffic. And I relate to this so fucking much because my ass fills every fucking game. It just happens to be that I am a tank player. So I fill 90% of the games playing tank, the 5% of the games playing support, maybe 7% of the games playing support, and 3% of the games playing DPS, right? And it's funny, people get very scared when they see me on DPS right now in Rivals. They're like, oh, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I am. If you play only tank or support, I am very confident I will be better on the flex role than you do. You are. Not because it's anything against you, but it's because like I just have so many hours of practice and playtime. And so I actually have pocket picks now of like Punisher. I have a pocket pick of Bucky. And I have now all of a sudden a weird pocket pick of Wolverine. And it's so funny. I guess Hela too, technically. It's so fucking funny. But you know why it works? Because I know that most people when they queue up are gonna pick DPS, and they're gonna pick that duelist role. They don't want to flex, and then they blame their team, and everyone sits there, and it's everyone else's fault but theirs. It's never their fault. They always sit there and they bitch. And if you've ever been or watched one of my videos or my streams, and you get me in a game where somebody's bitching on my team, I can read them like a fucking book because everyone has the same stat sheet. No one ever says that they're the problem. No one ever says that they're the issue. Hell, I had a couple days ago where a guy was just straight up throwing our games because we lost one singular fight where someone didn't combo an ult with them, and then in which they then ulted a Moon Knight ult on a res and killed the whole fucking team respawning and was still mad at them, so they proceeded to throw, right? Then I got them again the next game because we forgot to avoid them, and then we lost again with them versus the player they hated, and then I avoided them, and I played against them yesterday multiple times, and I beat them every fucking game that we played after that, and I'm like, dude, they're idiots. They all just tilt themselves into oblivion, and everyone always says that it's someone else's problem. I want to see people start to have to learn and adapt. And yet, if you want to win, you're not going to get to play DPS every game. You're going to have to learn to fill. But if you don't want to fill, that's okay. You don't have to fill. You're going to have to learn that you're probably not going to win every game. And it's not their fault. You have to learn to not bitch at everyone about it because you got to be the change you want to see in the world. If you're not willing to ever flex, then that's on you. And before somebody goes, well, flex, I always do flex. No one else does. I'm not talking to you then. I'm not talking to you. You're on my side. We are together. Come here, homie. Come here. We're together. I'm not talking to you. We're friends. You the one that's always flexing. You're mad at your teammates not flexing? Bless. You right here. We homies. Point being, most people are complaining about being in a team up made up of 6 DPS heroes or often playing as a DPS hero themselves. And look, I do get it. It can be frustrating to be nudged into playing tank or supporting roles when you really want to blast some folks, but you need to be the change. Venom or Shark or Jeff the Shark you wish to see in the world. Wow, it's actually in the article. That's crazy. Wow, that's wild. I also happen to think that part of Marvel Rivals' appeal is its absolute chaos, a sensation of free-for-all fun that is lent to its wonky balance and absurd team-up comps. I personally don't want this to become sweaty, mostly because the moment people figure out to watch their flanks when I'm playing Spider-Man, I'm doomed. And trust me, my shoddy aim's not going to save me. Well, it's already happening. At least like in ranked, it 100% is already happening. It doesn't matter. Like any competitive game that exists will always become competitive over time. Now, you might say, what is a competitive game? A competitive game is in which you are ever playing against another player. If you are ever playing against another player with something on the line where one person wins and one person loses, that is in fact a competitive game. Period. Every game that's competitive becomes eventually over time a sweatfest. Like that's just what happens. Good news though, you have at least probably a few years before it really kicks in. So, especially with a game like Rivals, which has so many characters, and they're going to be introducing more characters and so many more maps and stuff like that, ways to play those maps, and like it's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time. So don't start pissing yourself yet. You'll be fine. Like it's going to be a long time. It'll happen, right? But you'll be fine. It'll be a long time. But what about competitive play? Well, if you're serious about improving, having a good understanding of what every role does, it's probably healthy for your development anyways. Besides, Chen says things have been rational within expectations in our competitive play recently. There's a lot of different compositions emerging from players, and we'd like to continue to monitor these fun compositions and how they impact our game. This tune has been sung before, back in 2018. Overwatch was similarly against the idea of role queues, and look how that turned out. In the meantime, you'll probably win a lot more if you pick up strategists or two, or you can just commit to the bit and not get upset if you take a couple of losses. I promise you that Squirrel Girl is in fact not real, and she does not care about your KD ratio. Wow, that is f***ed up. Okay, you're not wrong. I feel like she probably would not care about my KD ratio because she probably would care about me as a person. But like, hey, what do I know? I will say though, Overwatch isn't a great comparison yet, because what happened with Overwatch was they were trying to make the game easier for players because characters like Tracer were dominating the game, and specifically support players would scream and cry and say like they're just getting rolled and you could only play Mercy or whatever. So they were trying to give a support that was strong enough to fight against the DPS characters. Their way of trying to get people to play support more, and we all know how that worked out. So not totally a role queue problem. Very, very different circumstances. But I agree though. I don't think they should do it. I think people should just let them figure it out. Bonus Rivals content, actually, before I do anything. Chat. Player goes on 210 kill streak during Marvel Rivals first tournament. Hey, wait a minute. Who did that? Who the f is that guy? Oh shit, that's me! Picked up a 210 KO streak in Marvel Rivals over the weekend. Flat streak was spread across 9 matches, during which he KO'd 9 rivals without being KO'd himself even once. Even more impressive, the streak took place during Rivals' first tournament weekend.
Who's that flat sky?
Yeah, I don't know. Who is that guy? Who is that guy? Marvel Rivals has only taken a little more than a week, but that has been more than enough time for many of you to become seasoned pros. NetEase was clearly well aware with that. Would be the case when open qualifiers begin for the first Marvel Rivals Championship this past weekend, and one streamer managed to rack up a 210 KO streak. You might be asking how that's possible. Even if the most fiercely contested round of Convoy, racking up 210 KOs would be pretty much impossible.
Hey, Flats,
the caveat here is that Flats, the streamer in question,
birthday.
It's not my birthday, but thank you for the rest. Thank you for the 16 months, banana. I achieved an incredible KO streak across multiple matches. Honestly, if anything, that just makes it even more impressive. Flash shared a screenshot showing their 9 matches in Rivals, which is the most that can fit on the screen at one time, although they claim to pick up a 210 KOs without falling a single time during the 9 rounds. By my calculations, it's actually racked up 223 KOs. That final match in the page is quick match rather than what took place in the open qualifiers, but then the total gets knocked down to 202 across 8 competitive matches. So here's the real story. It's 210 because the game above this one is the one I died in. And so I was on an 8 kill streak when I died. So 210 is actually the correct number. It just, you know, it wouldn't have looked as cool. It wouldn't, I scrolled down 1 and there was a 0 for a QP game. I scroll up and there's a 2. I was like, well, if I just scroll down 1 when I take the screenshot, it looks a little better. Also, SK Ghost wrote this tweet for me. I didn't actually make this tweet. SK told me, SK came into my chat, DM'd me, said, you're going to tweet this, and gave me this, and then said, take a screenshot of your thing. And then I took a screenshot, and she goes, wait, no, different screenshot. Take a screenshot from your stream so we can see you. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And she's like, I don't know, make a pose or something. So I did this. And so we added the thumbs up and the smile. And yeah, that's where we're at. Whether they're counting the quick match or not, or if we're using the 202, 210, or 223 figure, there's no question Flats only pulled this off. Flats not only pulled off something in Rivals over this weekend that would be incredibly impressive, but it almost certainly the longest KO streak in Rivals to date. If you haven't seen someone do it better, or you have strung together 200 plus KOs yourself and would like to share the evidence, please feel free to let us know in the comments below. Flats is a seasoned Overwatch streamer and ranks among the top 100 tank mains, so it adds up that he'd be pretty adept at Rivals right out of the gate. Odds are most of the more formidable Rivals players you've come up against during the game's first week and a half are Overwatch veterans looking in to see what all the fuss is about. Not only are Rivals and Overwatch very similar, but the characters in Rivals that have Overwatch counterparts. Marvel Rivals' first tournament will continue this weekend via its closed qualifiers, during which those who performed well enough during last weekend's open qualifiers will compete to try and progress further. The double elimination round will begin on December 27th, and the tournament will end with the grand and final lower bracket finals in January. Why are you guys all spamming old? Seasoned? Wait, they did call me seasoned. Wait, they called me a seasoned Overwatch streamer. Wait, did they call me old? Wait, there's no fucking shot they called me old. I caught a random stray in an article that was about me? That's fucked up. Damn, dude, I can't believe that.